Is it just me, or does anyone else get the feeling that the Matrix is starting to malfunction? What do I mean by the Matrix? A simulation, this fabric of unreality that the establishment is desperately trying to hold in place. And although for now it may be a small rip, it feels like that fabric is starting to tear apart. A lot of this centers around the plight of Andrew Tate. They tried to cancel him, they banned him on every platform. They arrested him, they threw him in prison without charge, and yet his rhetoric, his message just keeps getting louder and louder the more they persecute him. Love him or hate him, Tate's ideas are like a virus. They can take him out at the source, but his ideas have infected millions, potentially hundreds of millions of young people. The virus has already infected the mainframe. You've got an army of Gen Z kids uploading his content every minute of every day. And apparently in the UK, young lads are just walking up to complete strangers in public and telling them The Matrix wasn't a movie, it was a documentary.
When I talk about the Matrix, I'm talking about the systems which have been created by society, which are deliberately designed to enslave.
Tate fanboys are flash mobbing in the street, demanding his release. The dude's a global phenomenon, whether you like it or not. And every time the regime tries to strike him down, he only grows bigger. Even if you vehemently disagree with his views about women and relationships, even if you think he's guilty of what they're accusing him of, the establishment's beef with Andrew Tate has nothing whatsoever to do with that. You really think at the highest levels they give a shit about Andrew Tate's misogyny, his treatment of women? Or do you think they're more concerned about him skewering the military-industrial complex?
Joining the Marines in the USA, what do you think? I think you're a fool. You're a fool. You're gonna go die for what? Biden? I'm trying to protect American freedom. Yeah, you're gonna protect the freedom of those people in Nebraska by going over to Yemen and bombing some 13-year-old farmers. Great job. Stupid. You ain't protecting nothing but profits for companies that don't care about you. They'll force you to take injections which you don't even want. You're a fool to defend any of these globalist systems.
About his take on the New World Order surveillance state.
The New World Order is basically just controlling people and knowing everything about everyone. And that's your phone.
About his exposure of the Matrix itself.
You're existing inside of a system which is deliberately rigged.
And how many millions of young people he's influencing with all that talk. You have someone with that kind of global superstardom celebrity reach talking about those kind of issues on a regular basis. Of course the regime's gonna try to take him down. Interesting thing is though, they seem to be failing. It seems to be backfiring. The Matrix is malfunctioning.
Every single thing that exists out there inside of the Matrix is done so with a purpose.
The entire education system of the United Kingdom is currently gridlocked with panic about the influence Tate is having on teenage boys.
You've heard of hate speech. Well, Tate speech is spreading a toxic cloud through schools.
Every class you learn in school, all of them are created to keep your mind inside of a box. Because by keeping you inside of a box, they can keep you broke. And when they keep you broke, you must adhere to society's rules and laws, even if you know they're unfair, so you have enough money to eat. This is how they control you.
But the more teachers try to re-educate the kids, the more they just rebel against the programming. The education system was already failing young men long before Andrew Tate arrived on the scene. To blame him is a craven cop-out. And that's the point. These institutions are quick to pass judgment on Tate, but none of them have the credibility to do so. Big Tech claims it has the moral high ground to censor Tate in the name of combating hate and misinformation. Yet as the Twitter files clearly show, under the contrived justification of combating hate and misinformation, Big Tech has spent years censoring perfectly legitimate information to sway the outcome of elections and facilitate cover-ups, especially in regards to the pandemic. The government claims that Tate's vile misogyny is a threat to women, while they simultaneously pass laws at the behest of the trans lobby to silence and erase women. Tate gets arrested without him being charged with anything and is immediately subject to trial by media. Yet what right does the media have to conduct a trial of anyone? There's a reason trust in media remains at a historic low. There's a reason mainstream media outlets are hemorrhaging viewers and going bust across the board. And it isn't because they've been truthful and honest, is it? The Matrix is malfunctioning because the institutions that power it have lost the trust of the people. And it's entirely their own fault. Let's take a brief pause there to explain how you can support me, and we'll be right back. Many of you have asked how you can support me on a regular basis. Well, here's the best way: by getting an organic coffee subscription at pjwshop.com. I'm only joking. Obviously, I'm gonna say it tastes good. But it does. Try it for yourself. This breakfast blend coffee is organically roasted, meaning it's less acidic and tart than other blends. It's perfectly smooth and it goes down a treat. You've seen how much I get demonetized all the friggin' time. But by getting a coffee subscription, you get a great tasting coffee, something that you're going to buy anyway. And you help me continue my work. It's a win-win. You can do a one-time purchase to try it out, or subscribe to get the coffee delivered to you on a schedule of your choosing. You can amend or cancel that schedule at any time. So click the link in the description below or go direct to pjwshop.com to check out the other great merch on offer. Now back to the video. At the World Economic Forum, Davos globalists are meeting to discuss the so-called poly-crisis facing humanity. They seem to be more paranoid than ever. 5,000 soldiers to guard them. The biggest security presence ever. Yet big names skipping the confab for no obvious reason. Their desperation becoming increasingly more evident.
Let's also be clear. The future is not just happening. The future is built by us, by a powerful community as you here in this room. We have the means to improve the state of things.
So much information is coming out. So much that was once hidden and censored is being brought to the light. Forget about the Great Reset. I wonder if we're experiencing the Great Reveal, or at least revelation of the method. Our elite's cognizant of the fact that if they allow it to all be revealed too quickly, there'll be mass public unrest, social dislocation, chaos, panic, bedlam. But if they can ensure it only ekes out in a steam valve fashion, maybe they can stop the disintegration of the Matrix. I mean, take the vaccine, for example.
Getting that shot really was an amazing feeling. It hits you.
Trust in the Matrix is so chronically low. Every time someone below the age of 40 or 50 drops dead, everyone just assumes it was the vaccine. A cardiologist appeared on the BBC to discuss statins, but let slip something far more interesting.
But what is almost certainly, and if you allow me to say this, LaQuesta, what my own research has found, and this is something that is probably a likely contributing factor, is that the COVID mRNA vaccines do carry a cardiovascular risk. And I've actually called for the suspension of this pending an inquiry because there's a lot of uncertainty at the moment about what's causing the excess deaths.
One version of that clip alone has amassed over 20 million views. The BBC's broadcast of the Queen's funeral only just beat it with 25 million views. We appear to be reaching some kind of critical mass. MPs are standing up in Parliament and making similar stunning statements.
3 months ago, one of the UK's most eminent and trusted cardiologists, a man with an international reputation, Dr. Asim Malhotra, published peer-reviewed research that concluded that there should be a complete cessation in the administration of the COVID mRNA vaccines for everyone because of clear and robust data of significant harms and little ongoing benefit.
That's Andrew Bridgen, once a staunch promoter of vaccines, now an ardent skeptic. One spicy H-word tweet later and the Matrix came crashing down on him like a ton of bricks. But Bridgen was defiant, saying he'd happily sacrifice his entire career for the cause.
You seem to be sacrificing your political career to do this.
If that's what it takes, it doesn't matter about my political career. There's something seriously going wrong in this country, and quite honestly, Tony, it's been going wrong for several years. And it's got to stop.
A member of the US FDA's Vaccine Advisory Committee is calling for a halt to all COVID vaccines. 5 Swedish doctors went public with similar assertions. The CDC announced it was investigating a possible link to strokes. Is this all part of the revelation of the method? Is this deluge of Matrix jamming information being deliberately allowed to flood the zone? The energy really seems to have shifted, doesn't it? We appear to be moving into a murky new phase of existence and reality. Or is it just all one big coincidence? Doesn't seem like it. Seems like the Matrix is malfunctioning.